somebody's telling you who lives in suburbia, I don't like this, so you need to make it like this. For me, who's 50 years of age, to accept it, it's like, bruh, you're never going to the dance where I go. You don't know nothing about where I'm going, but you're trying to tell me, you know. And in fact, let me just cut in there. So one day at Kiss, to show you, like, take a stand. So Crisscross comes out with Jump, massive record. And then their next record was with Supercat, I forgot what it's called, right? But they wanted some support. Cool, they come into England. Because the record is so big, but they have to remember, we're the hip-hop heads. So us, Westwood, Numbers would have been playing the record, and whoever else. Maybe Chris, what's his name? I forgot his name. Chris. See his face, can't remember his name. It will come back to me. So anyway, so us four are all supporting these records. That's how hip hop gets done in London, okay, through us, nobody else. Not because we're saying we're exclusive, but we're the ones who live that life. And I get a call saying, Crisscross coming to the UK. It's like, bruh, you got to come to our show. And I get a call saying, well, they haven't got enough time, so they're going to go to Radio 1 and that's the end of it. So I'm, okay, cool, not a problem. Next record comes out, and it's like, it's never going to get anywhere. I know that for a fact. At least not without our help.
You said without our help, as in just
me and
Max.
Me and Max. Kiss was the tastemaker. It might not be able to make a hit record, but you know, if we're playing it, at some point, it's going to go somewhere. Minimum, it's rolling off in the clubs. It's ringing off in the club. So I messaged whoever it was in, I think it was Karen Mason in Sony. I'm like, yeah, your peoples ain't coming through. We ain't playing the record. And at that point, I remember being in Lindsay Wesker's office, and he says, Karen wants to speak to you. I was like, Dave, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I know, but can you please? No. Yeah, you get them here or we. No. She said, but I can't go. Well, cool, that's all right. Listen, me and you, it's all love, but I'm playing the record.
Okay, so you're saying the record ain't going to go nowhere without your support?
No. What I'm saying, my intuition is I don't think it's going to go anywhere. But we ain't playing it. Right. That's the end of it.
So, say for example, Crisscross comes into the country, but you ain't feeling the record. Are you still gonna get them on the show and play the record? You ain't feeling.
If we can do that, yeah. But they told us that they're too big for us. They've gone past rap. It was cool. Bye. That's it. But here's the problem with all that. Even to this day, right? Hip hop ain't about culture no more. It's a
well, it is to some of us.
It's a popularity contest. Yeah. I'm talking about the hip hop that sells now.
Yeah.
Right? You know, little this, that, and the other. It lasts 2 seconds and then it's on to little, big, big, little, blah, 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 blah. You know, and a lot of them can't rap. You know, and there's nothing wrong with that because you're feeding your family, but how do you expect to move forward? I mean, I tell you what I do like, and I don't really know too much about them. I like country and western rap. It's got that, because I was like, at some point, somebody has to do that, and I've started hearing it, and they are damn good. They are really good. So that kind of flow, it really works with country and western, because now you've got some melody and you've got some words. And country and western, if people go, I don't like country and western, let me tell you something. As a singer in country and western, if you can't sing, you're done, because you can put a lot of, you put any genre out there, right? And you can fix it with technology. You can't do that with country and western. If you can't sing, you're done. Okay, that's all there is to it. You know, even with gospel, which is probably one of the best plain vocal styles, they can still put, effects on that because it's kind of akin to R&B, but not with country and western. And I love country and western because it's storytelling. It's a bit like rap music. It's storytelling, and it's melodic. A lot of that stuff, I never bothered, right? It never bothered me after a while when people will say, well, that's not hip hop. It's like, well, who told you it's not hip hop? What I started to tell people was hip hop is what I say it is. I mean, if you ever get a chance to ask him, he'll probably say no. But I'm telling you now, one night, I was playing in the gig, it was me and Max, we were getting off, and I think my second to last record was Bobby Brown, My Prerogative. And Westwood, his exact words were, why are you playing this? I said, because it's a hip-hop record, that's why. The next day on his Capital Radio show, he played it. Yeah. It's like, to me, he's a person that doesn't understand that we are here to support the culture. Isn't here to support you. You're here to support the culture. You know. So when people say he's a culture vulture, you can't really refute that, because there's lots of people who look like culture vultures because they don't give anything. They just take.
It's interesting that you mentioned his name, and I don't really want to go deep into all of that, but what we were seeing from the offset, from outsiders' point of view, was there was a little rivalry thing going on. And like what we were getting, and I can probably say this, like, because it happened to me, and I know other people, basically there were certain people going, if you don't give us the record first, we're not supporting.
Okay.
You know, so there were, and that wasn't you, and that wasn't numbers, but he supported.
Here was the thing with us, right? Do I like it or don't I like it? But don't bring the record 10 weeks later and expect me to play it if you've given it to Westwood or whatever. But the other part of that was remembering, understanding, if you come from a reggae background, right, and you've gone to a sound clash is the worst verbal this, that, and the other. And then everybody's all love and have a drink afterwards. That's not Westwood. Westwood is like, there can be there's no number 2, 3, 4, or 5. I'm number 1 and I'll cut your legs away. And now the reason, I'm gonna say this now, I don't think I've ever said this on in a public forum. So that same woman, in fact, I best not say her name. So let's say this. We were friends with Dice. More really, Dice is a friend of Max, because Max is a weed smoker, I'm not. So we used to roll around with Russell, Dice, Houdini, etc. Years later, Dice becomes the road manager for Pete Rock and CL Smooth. So because Max is friends with Dice, Dice sends us the album, like their second album, on a cassette. So we got it like way before anybody. And what I found out years later was that Westwood told Elektra to not to have us stop playing it, or he's not going to support it. So I was like, well, okay, cool. I had the same thing. I mean, I'll tell you a story about, but it was my fault with the Fugees. So I didn't know that, but I think we got I think we had a conversation. I think we didn't even stop playing. We were like, don't play it for 1 week and then play it the following week. Because the problem that you've got is that the executives that are telling you, it's not their world. So they don't know and they don't care. So let's go into the Fugees. The Fugees, I was into the very first record that they did, Buff Bath, which was all right. It wasn't great. But I go into the New York office. Shout out to Taish, who I still talk to this day. In fact, I'm in still groups with her. So Taish Harris says, I've come in the office and I'm collecting records. At that point, it ain't hard to tell was the biggest thing on the planet. So I've walked in her office and I want to copy that. She's like, well, we ain't got any. I'm like, what? Okay. So anyway, I did get one by the time I got back to England. But while I'm in the office, the Fugees walk in.